Have you seen a really, really like confident entrepreneur or someone in business? And you just wonder, like, how do they operate so confidently and they have so much charisma and belief in themselves? Well, today I'm going to give you the three key traits that I see in highly confident entrepreneurs. And if you stay until the end, I have an extra special point for you then. Now, I'm not saying I don't believe I don't believe that nobody has like zero problems. Everyone has some kind of problems. Yet it's our attitude and how we respond to things that makes us different, and the actions and decisions we ultimately make. Right? We all have fears. That's one of my biggest pet peeves when people say like, "Oh, that person's fearless." Nobody is fearless. Every single person on the planet has fear. Our brains are wired in that way. It's just our responses. Now, of course, there's things like phobias and traumas, which are a bit deeper. Yeah, if you're just like fearful of things like the fear of rejection, fear of failure, that's a very common one. Like every single human being has it. And the traits of these highly successful entrepreneurs, like everyone I've spoken to, and myself included, have had these and had to work through these. So that's what I really wanted to talk about today. And I remember just starting my own like business, like when I was like a sole trader, and now I'm a bigger company. Now I'm a limited company, but I used to be like, oh my God, who am I to do this? Who am I to be going out there and coaching people? Right. And I would just like hold myself back from posting stuff or taking action, having those conversations with people. And I remember the first time I ever got some money, I felt, oh my God, I robbed someone. I felt really, really bad. And I hadn't, of course. I was giving them a service for coaching them. But it's very unfamiliar to me. And I think that's what holds a lot of us back from what I've heard, like, who am I to do this? I've got all these fears, etc., etc. Right. And there's absolutely a lot of, I always believe in there's a lot of work you need to do on your mind. I like to call it psychology rather than your mindset, because mindset's more your conscious attitude towards things, whilst psychology is the ongoing thought processes consciously and subconsciously to address, whilst taking actions and doing things regularly. Right. And it can be challenging for a lot of us to get out there and be confident. And this, by the way, doesn't necessarily mean in the context of business. It can mean in the area of anything. Now, how is it helping you by just staying in the same place and not feeling confident and not moving forward? Caught in the same cycle. If you're anything like me, when I was just stuck, whether that was public speaking, whether that's starting a business, whether that's socializing with people, it didn't do me any favors. So I want to go into these traits that I want you to start taking action on at least one of these that I observed and know that are key in highly confident entrepreneurs and business owners out there. The first one, they live with uncertainty a lot better. The amount of times, and I've had the conversations with people and actually caught myself doing it in the past, when someone's like, oh, is this going to work? I've got to know this is going to work. Like, I've got to be certain this is going to work, like, before I invest in anything. Well, you can be certain you're not going to get a change if you keep doing what you're doing, right? And obviously, yeah, do your due diligence, do understand what you're jumping into, of course, absolutely. But what I found is these highly successful entrepreneurs are a lot better at being able to live with uncertainty, because there's no certainty in life, right? The only certainty you've got, as much as it's painful to say, is that you're going to be born and you're going to die some point, right? Sorry to make it sound a bit negative, but that's the fact, right? The certainty you can have is in yourself as well, backing yourself no matter what's going to happen. You can't be certain on a business. You can't be certain on a job. You can't be certain on a relationship. You can't be certain on anything apart from what you put in yourself, and that you're going to show up. And obviously, you're born and you die, right? And these highly successful entrepreneurs know this. Obviously, do your calculations, do use common sense. But when you start living in a place that you've got to be certain about everything, that's a recipe for disaster, because there's no certainty in life. The second one, highly successful, and it links to the first one, highly successful entrepreneurs and confident entrepreneurs invest in themselves? How many of us buy things, and that includes houses and property, by the way, although actually some property can be an investment because you make money back. But how many of us like buy things like clothes and things we don't need, yet we refuse to invest in ourselves? There's so many people in the world who do this. Highly confident entrepreneurs, I know, have invested like tens and tens, and if not hundreds of thousands. And a lot of the time, they didn't even have the money. They just got loans. They found ways of being productive. Maybe they did credit cards. Maybe they did something that enabled them to be resourceful and get into those things. By investing in yourself, you're saying to yourself, I am worth this. I am worthy of investing in myself and growing myself because I'm going to be a better version of me and to others. And that's what makes them very confident. The third thing, they don't tolerate negative people. Highly successful entrepreneurs will just, like, yeah, sometimes there's maybe the odd family member that you can't completely cut out of your life. I'm very fortunate I haven't got any negative family members. They're beautiful, amazing people. Don't necessarily always agree with the whole entrepreneur world, but that's fine. We're all in our own world. But highly confident entrepreneurs do not tolerate negative people. They have their boundaries. They understand where they are. And sometimes it's hard emotionally, absolutely. But if you're clear on your boundaries and what you want in terms of people in your life, then you can be a lot more clearer on that. Okay, and my bonus point is highly confident entrepreneurs are also learning, not only learning every day, they're implementing. So every time you hear something, don't just listen to this and go, oh, wow, that was inspirational, and do nothing about this, right? Highly successful and confident entrepreneurs, and this, again, it applies to all areas of life, are learning and doing something, even if it's a tiny thing, even if it's just getting on social media and sharing what they've learned, even if it's just sending one message to someone after they hear something. Maybe you hear this and you're like, oh, I need to tell someone something. Maybe just give them a quick text message. Now, if it's an actual conversation you need to have, don't do it over text message. That's ridiculous. But like, maybe just say, right, can we have a phone call tomorrow? And that's the message. That's one action you take. But highly confident entrepreneurs always learning, and they're always taking action on what they learn. People just learn and don't do anything with it. Like, if you listen to this and don't do anything with it, you're not going to change. Maybe you're listening to other stuff and implementing it. Great. Don't just be a constant learner, because although it's great and it's going into your mind, if you don't act on it, nothing will change. And that's the final bonus one I wanted to mention as well. So that's what I've got for you today. I appreciate you for being here. You're improving other people's lives for being the best you. And remember, you're in control of your own self-esteem and confidence.